So good afternoon, it is 3:10. The date is Thursday the 16th of October. This is the day that I've come in to have a look at my skates to see if they are fixed or not, or if it's going to be enough to basically put my holder back on so I can skate on them tonight. As we can see, there is the repair. It does look rough. The reason being is I did have to sand it back and then add some extra to it. I am just going to basically put the holder together and put it on the skate and then see how we go. Hopefully it goes well. I've also got a couple of other repairs that I've got to do. I've got to do the tendon guards. So shout out to Willie's who managed to get me tendon guards really quickly. I made an order for them and they came pretty much the next day, which is quality service. So again, shout out to them. It's something that we just can't get our head around, is how we can manage to get it. They must have their stuff in stock. I have a massive warehouse and be able to just send it as and when the order comes. We're not in that position to do that because we're obviously a lot smaller of a company. So yeah, I managed to get 4 tendon guards, and the reason why I get 4 is I've got another job to do. So I'll put the other 2 up here out the road. I've got 2 for myself. These ones seem to be slightly different from the ones that I have at the moment. As we can see, they have orange parts in them. These ones have kind of black in them. It doesn't really make a difference. These actually feel as if they're actually meant off the Pro Boot, but it doesn't really make a difference again because they're going to fit anyway. So my plan is to try and get the holder on the skate, but first off, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the tendon guards on. So I'm going to have to pop the rivets. I've already filed them down, so what I can basically do is just pop them with the riveter. So I'll pop them off and then I'll try and put some new ones in. If they work, then that's perfect. The last couple of times I've done a tendon guard repair, the main thing I've ended up using is helmet parts. So I've used helmet screws because I think the helmet screws just hold a little bit better than the rivets. Unfortunately, the rivets just seem to come loose. The way that the True company do them themselves is they kind of round them off. So it's like it looks as if it's like a pneumatic machine that does them and rounds them off all nice and perfect. Whereas when I do them, you cut them and you splay them just like a normal rivet. Anyway, I'm going to try and see if I can get this done. I'm not time-lapsing this for you guys because I'm just going to show you what it looks like once it's done. So I'll take the tendon guards off, put the holder on, and then put the new ones on. And I'll maybe come back and see it in between. So it's now 3:41 and it took a lot longer than I thought it was going to take to get the tendon guards on. I tried to do rivets and again, I just couldn't get it to sit properly in the riveter. It was taking way too long and I broke too many rivets and I was getting annoyed with myself because I'm extremely tired. I'm struggling to sleep at the moment and that the move hasn't exactly been the easiest for me with like my routine and stuff. So I seem to have turned night into day and I fell asleep this morning at 5 o'clock and I was up again at 5:30, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock and 8 o'clock, and then I just stayed up. So I'm running on empty today. So everything is taking a little bit longer. Anyway, right, tendon guards are now on. As we can see, I've used RMS bolts from Graf to be able to put them on, and I've used the helmet screws as well. I'm just about to show you what I've used. There's a kind of flush mount one that you can get. I used a flush mount bolt, and basically I've got the RMS nut in there, and that's secured that in place. I'm quite happy with that. So now what the plan is to try and get the holder on. So I'm going to have to make sure I drill a couple of holes. And then once I've drilled the holes, I'm going to get the holder on. Now this is a second holder. This is a different one that was actually on the skate. These are from another pair of skates that I had that I took off, that I made them into rollerblades. And when I took the holder off, the holder was a little bit soft, but it's a little bit stiffer than what was actually on it originally. Now the holder that I had here, this one is completely and utterly done. That is time for the bin for that one, unfortunately. Pamela has actually ordered me new holders, or new holders are on the way, and a new pair of skates are on the way. The reason why I've went for what I've went for at the moment is, one, we can't get any higher from Bauer at the moment, so I've went for it's either a pair of Fly 40s or M40s, which basically, as far as I'm concerned, are going to be like a kind of mid-range skate. They are relatively stiff. They should be stiffer than the skate that I actually have here at the moment, even though it is meant to be a lot stiffer than the mid-range skate. These skates have deteriorated very rapidly and there is nothing in stock in the UK from what Pamela has checked she's checked with a couple of different suppliers. We were talking about getting a pair of Graph Ultra C's. The Ultra C's were originally meant to be ordered months ago and never ever came to fruition. I don't know if it was a problem with the ordering process or if it was a problem where Pamela just said she'd ordered it and hadn't ordered it or forgot to order it. I just know they haven't turned up. They were originally meant to be here months ago and that's not happened. So because that's not happened, we're now in the process of trying to find me another pair of skates, and the backup pair of skates that I did have, the M5 Pros, were made into rollerblades, and I am not coming in here tonight at any point to try and change them over because that skate is actually collapsed as well, but it's good enough to skate about in for inlines. It's not good enough to skate on the ice. So tendon guard job is now done. Next on the agenda is the holder. So there we have it, the skate is now back together. We'll see if we can find somewhere to put the skate down so I can actually show you. So we've got the holder back on the actual skate and we've got the JB Weld on that area here. I know it does look rough, but it has been sanded back and I don't have time to finesse it. What I would usually have tried to put a finishing coat over the top of it or something, but I just don't have the time at the moment. You can see that the skate is starting to show battle scars. I'm going to have to try and sand these down and get some extra carbon on them at some point, especially in this area. This isn't a problem area. I think one more shot in that area and I think I'm going to lose the side of the skate, but that'll be something that I'll try and see if I can get fixed. Inside, if you have a look in the inside, I don't know if you're able to see this, the lighting might not be the greatest, but you can see the light grey area. That is the area that was rebuilt. That whole area there, what I basically did was I put leg tape on the inside of the skate to hold over the top of the hole, and then what I did was I just basically backfilled it with carbon fibre chop and the JB Weld. So yeah, that will do this one for tonight. I think that's me. I think I'm relatively happy with that. Nice stiff tendon guards again, brand new ones held in with the RMS bolts. Yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of work that's going to need to get done on these at some point, but when I get the other skates in, they could be here possibly tomorrow. If not tomorrow, it could be next week by the time that they're here now. If they get me by for tonight, then that's not necessarily the issue. If I get another pair of skates in for next week, then what I'm going to do is I'll skate in them, and then it means I can take these apart again and hopefully get them rebuilt and stiff them in the areas where they need to be stiffened. One of the major problems I'm finding is when I got this skate, there was so much stiffness in this skate you couldn't move it. But now you can see that the skate is actually very, very soft. That's just obviously because I'm skating 2 or 3 times a week. Not only am I skating 2-3 times a week, I am a big body, so you maybe find that that's the reason, that they're just not made for people my height and build. But we'll see how they go. Anyway, that's me finished for today. I will catch you again tomorrow, bright and early at 12 PM. So typical woman logic. I say at the start of the video we've got a Bauer order. Pamela's going to go through the Bauer order, and half the Bauer order's gone already because the customers have all been and gone with the Bauer orders, which is really quite good because that means that we don't have to hold on to them for very long. But what was in the orders, Pamela? Would you like to face the camera and talk to the people that you're...
No, because I'm busy.
Talk to your audience. Here is the audience here at home.
Skates, laces, braces.
Anything else?
No, that was it.
Was that it? Okay.
Skates, laces, braces, and one helmet.
And that's it. Anything else on the plans for today? What have you got?
Yeah, I've got a Bauer order to do for stuff I missed.
Yeah, please. Thank you. Would you like to take it? Do you take it and speak to it?
No, you hold it.
I'll hold it, okay.
I've got another order to make. I've got loads of customers to get back to and a couple of refunds to make.
Is that refunds because we've got customers that are like inept at understanding that there is waiting times on things?
Apparently so.
That's me not being horrible to the customers. Like, we have had a torrid time trying to get some stuff from suppliers. Some of the waiting lists for our waiting times for some of the products is astronomical. When the customers make their initial order, we are telling people that it could take up to 18 months for a pair of flies or whatever else. But people just don't seem to understand, and people are ordering flies and then dropping off the order, or dropping like flies, and then saying that they don't want them like 3-4 months into the order, which means that then we have to refund them, but we're already in a waiting list for that product, so we're stuck with that product unless we can get out of the queue for that. But then you're actually finding that some people are cancelling the order because it's taking so long and they're saying they're going to go elsewhere. which
then
then
we go back to the beginning
exactly.
of the queue.
Thank you very much for interrupting. You don't want to be part of the video, but yet you're interrupting. Thank you. So then it means that if they go elsewhere to get the product, thinking that it's us that's the problem, when it's not us that's the problem, it's the supply chain. And if they go to somewhere else to get it, they go to the end of the queue, unfortunately. But that's just how things have been in the last little while. We are trying to be better at everything with regards to orders, the order process, and make sure that we get things here within a week if we can. And if it's got a little bit more time to take to get here, then obviously it's just going to take a little bit more time. Things do take time to get here sometimes, especially with the figure skates, but it seems to be, unfortunately, most of the figure skate customers are the ones that have an issue with waiting times, and we understand that people want to have their stuff, they're paying a lot of money for the product, but we're not going to order a product for you guys to then have it stuck with us when you decide that you don't want it, especially when it's a specialist pair of skates, if they're having to be made to order in specific widths and stuff like that. That's my rant for the day, and probably Pamela's rant for the day as well.
The less I say about it.
Yeah, the less that Pamela says about it, the better, because Pamela had to have a phone call from Cold Blooded Sports HR, which was me, to tell her that she had to calm herself down a couple of days ago, because there was a customer that was really annoying her when she was trying to make the kids dinner. But anyway, yeah, right, so I'm going to try and get on with some computer work now, because I have to go down the road and pick up a pair of leg pads in a little while, but I've not got time to do that just now. I've got to try and catch up on some stuff. I've been asked by one of my friends, Calfzilla, if you know who I'm talking about. He's asked me to see if I can find him some sticks to have a look at. So he's looking at getting some new sticks sorted. So I'm going to have a look and see if there's anything available in clearance for him, because he's tighter than 2 coats of paint, and we'll see how it goes. So end of day Friday, I'm just putting the shutter down. Pamela is literally just left to go and get the kids, and right now I am just about to head to the gym. It was a relatively quiet, consistent day. I say it was consistent enough with sharpenings and heat molds and a couple of orders. I've had another stick in for a repair, and I'm just about to show you what the repair is. It's hard to do one-handed, but we'll see if we can get it to go. There we go. Right, so we have a Bauer Twitch stick in, and you can see that there's an actual hole in the side of the shaft, and it's cracked all the way across and all the way down here. So what I'm going to have to try and do is try and see if I can, believe it or not, rebuild that part of the shaft. I also have some braided carbon fibre material here that the plan is to try and pull that up over the top of that, pull it nice and tight, and then resin it in. The problem I have right now is because it's excessively busy, or it has been excessively busy, or a lot busier than normal, because the season has started again, I'm going to have to try and find time to get that done. So I might be in here on Sunday trying to see if I can get that finished. I say finished, but I need to try and get it started. So there is going to be a lot of sanding involved in this one, so I need to sand it back, make it nice and rough, so that it will accept the carbon fibre and the resin. There has to be quite a lot of resin put on that, so it will alter the weight of the stick, unfortunately, but we'll just need to see how it goes. The plan originally is to try and see if I can rebuild parts of that first by layering carbon fibre material over the top of it, and then it's going to have to be a multiple level repair, shall you say. It's going to have to be some of this kind of material here over the top of it, and then the braided carbon fibre over the top of it as well, and then resin it in. It's going to take a while, like I say, but we'll see how that goes. So for today, that's me finished. I'll see you again tomorrow at 12:30. Well, good afternoon. It is 3:26 on Saturday. It has been a very consistent day again. That's the reason why we've not been on, and I have got lots to do, but I've pretty much been busy today on the sharpening machine and speaking to people with regards to custom work on their skates. So one of the things that I'm actually going to try and get done today while I'm in the store, I have one of my friends, his kid has a Twitch stick, and as we can see there is a hole in the stick here, and we can see that it's not exactly the best. It's actually starting to creak and move. So my plan is to try and see if I can get this all sanded back so I can get it ready to accept some carbon fibre and some resin. I'm going to try and put some resin in here and try and fill a little bit of this, and then I'm going to put a piece of carbon fibre around that area here, basically just trying to reinforce it, because I actually have basically the carbon fibre sleeve, this stuff here, which will be able to go over this onto the actual kind of bit where it's twisting. I'm hoping that it's going to basically be able to make the stick a little bit more rigid and get a little bit more life out of it. Obviously at the moment, the blade, if you look at the blade and the shaft, the blade is moving quite dramatically. So we're hoping to try and see if we can get that stiffened up and glued kind of basically back into place. I'm not going to be using super glue, I'm going to be using epoxy for this one. It will take a little bit of time. The reason being is the resins that I use at present, basically what will happen with these are they're basically going to take a little time to set. So what we've got to do is we've got to do a 2:1 ratio, let it set for a little while, and then once it starts going off, it starts to get a little bit more tacky. That's when we can start applying the carbon fibre in. So I'm going to try and paint some stuff into that just now to try and see if I can get it a little bit more rigid, and then we'll put the carbon fibre over it as well and see how we go. 4:56, we had a little bit of a rush there in the afternoon, just after the quiet period. So one of the things I managed to do today with the Twitch stick was I managed to get it all sanded back, or mostly sanded back. I have actually packed it with my 2-piece JB Weld, which is in here, and then I put a piece of carbon fibre over the top of it, and then I pasted on the remaining JB Weld with resin mixed in with it to try and give it a little bit of rigidity. Now the reason why I've done that is because the shaft was obviously moving and twisting. So I wanted to try and patch the hole that was in this area here and give it a little bit more rigidity. So that has now been done. That was done probably about an hour and a half ago. It's going to take maybe about 12 to 24 hours for it to set. Hopefully it sets absolutely solid, and then we can put the carbon fibre sleeve over the top of it, over that kind of area there. I know it doesn't look like it fits, but you've already seen it. I'm pretty sure you've already seen it on the stick already, and if not, you'll see it once it's finally getting put on in its final place. Can hardly speak today. It's one of the days where I haven't slept for properly for the last couple of weeks, and I managed to get a relatively okay sleep last night, probably somewhere from about 4 o'clock in the morning till maybe about 8, 9, and then work started in the house again, so we were wide awake for that.
Jason didn't turn up till 10.
So,
till 10.
Alright, I got till 10 o'clock, but it just shows you I don't really have a concept of time when I'm sleeping. Obviously I can't exactly tell the time when I'm sleeping.
I tried very hard to keep Lily under lock and key, but every time she seen somebody walking past this morning, I was like rugby tackling her. Shh, shh, shh. That's Simon! Don't say that!
You need to tell them who Lily is.
Lily, they know who Lily is.
Just
one
in
of
case.
the funny dogs.
Furry dogs. Yes, one of the
Lily
dogs.
is one of our dogs. She is her daddy's dog. Totally and utterly devoted to Stephen. That much that she lies in between us with her head in the pillow.
With her ass pointing at Pamela and the head pointing towards me.
Stares into your eyes, I get the stinky end. But she's also got the temperament of an Alsatian on guard duty. So
she's genuinely about the size of my foot.
Yeah, she's like no more than a foot tall, and she thinks she's a Doberman, and she barks at absolutely everybody that goes up the street, up her street. And she also goes bananas for dogs, cats, squirrels, birds, anything. You could fart at the end of the street and she would tell you about it. So she was on watch this morning, and I was trying very hard to keep the house quiet. So shh, tackle her every time she tried to bark. But yeah.
So as you can see, this is us just basically getting a lunch. Not that we were sponsored by anyone for lunch today or anything like that. It's just we just managed to get food now because it has been consistently busy. We did have a little quiet period which allowed me to get the stick done, or started at least. And then the lull didn't last very long. It was as soon as Pamela said I'm ordering food, food came. Yep. And then so did everybody else.
I also forgot to get my picture from my passport, so I'm going to have to do that on Monday.
Yep. You need to get a passport photo, and apparently I need to get one too.
Yep. I need an electronic picture for you as well. You go see Nigel. I don't think he's opening on Monday.
So if you're wondering who Nigel is, if you were to walk out my shutters or walk out the door that way and go this way, it's Paisley Photoshop. So
and anytime you need anything, if you're in Paisley or even beyond, Nigel will sort you out. He's a fantastic photographer, and he'll do all your passport pictures and printing if you need anything done.
Yep. So as we have said before, if there's people that we know that run businesses that help us and we help them, we'll advertise them because they're good to us. So anyway, that is pretty much, I think, the end of today's shift. I don't think there's really much else I can add to this video, unfortunately. It's been a very, very busy, quiet, tight at times Saturday.
A busy, quiet Saturday.
I know you liked that there, but it was busy at times but quiet at times too. That's what I tried to say. But
A
yeah,
busy, quiet Saturday.
yeah, I need sleep. It's time for me to go home and go to my bed, I think. And see that I've had a stroke, one of the two. Anyway, right, I'm going to go. It's been emotional. That has been emotional. So thanks very much for watching. If you like the content that you see, like, share and subscribe. What have they got to do?
Share. Right. Keep it cold-blooded.
There we go. She got there in the end.